fair number of people simply go to their agent and say, what's the minimum amount of insurance coverage that I need to buy? Understandably, trying to save money and make sure that they're not spending any more premium dollars than they really need to. Sometimes when the agent explains the need for higher levels of coverage, folks have a hard time understanding that, mostly because they really don't believe that the fickle accident finger is going to land on them. And they have a hard time imagining payments for automobile accident settlements in the kinds of numbers that the insurance agent is selling them coverage. But one of the simplest ways to perhaps appreciate that the agent is probably giving sound advice is to take a look at how much medical expenses have increased over the last 10 or 20 years. For those of us that have been watching that, it's an extraordinary number. And when you understand that most personal injury claims are tied very closely to the amount of medical expenses that the injured person has incurred, you can appreciate how much those settlements and those verdicts increase right along with the cost of medical care. When most of us go out and buy insurance, we're usually thinking about having enough insurance to protect our own assets and our family assets such that the person that's injured is fully taken care of by the insurance company that we bought a policy from. And that's understandable. We don't really think about being hit by others, and if we do think about that, we tend to think more about health insurance and whether that's available to us to take care of those injuries, and perhaps assume that if somebody hits us, that they're going to have insurance that'll take care of us. Unfortunately, that's not the case as often as we'd like it to be. And therefore, given the number of people that buy less than adequate insurance or buy no insurance at all and are out on our highways every day, our legislature has required for many years now that every insurance company sell what's called uninsured, underinsured automobile coverage. And that policy, as the name would suggest, covers the policy holder, you, the person that's buying the coverage, from the negligent acts of someone who has no insurance, that's uninsured coverage, or someone that has not enough insurance, that's underinsured coverage. Let me give you a quick example. If you get hit by somebody that has a minimum policy, a $25,000 per person, $50,000 per accident policy, and you're put in the hospital for a couple of weeks and you miss a couple of months from work, you're going to have a claim well in excess of $25,000. If you have no other coverage, that's what you're going to get, $25,000, and you'll have to take care of your medical bills that aren't covered by other insurance and your attorney's fees and all that out of the $25,000. If you have purchased your own uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage in an amount higher than that $25,000, then your own company will make up the difference between the $25,000 that the guy that hit you had and whatever amount you have per person. So assuming you bought, say, a $100,000, $300,000 policy, you would also have uninsured motorist coverage in the amount of $100,000 per person and underinsured coverage for each person up to $100,000. So the person that hits you that only has a $25,000 policy will pay you $25,000, their company will, and your own company is available to pay up to $75,000 more to you, and then they have the right to go sue the person that hit you. I'm often asked, isn't my umbrella coverage good for that purpose? I just bought a $2 million umbrella policy. Umbrella policies have their purpose. You should talk to your insurance agent about your particular circumstances as to why that kind of coverage is appropriate for you, and it often is. It does provide a certain level of peace of mind for that circumstance in which maybe you cause a catastrophic injury and the coverage just isn't there from other sources to protect you. That's what that policy is for. It's almost exclusively for circumstances under which you are liable for very large damages, and it sits over the top of your other policies, whether it be homeowners or automobile coverage. What it doesn't cover you for in virtually every umbrella policy that's written out there is that underinsured, uninsured circumstance. Most of those policies exclude automobile liability from their coverage. That is, the automobile liability of others. It will cover your liability should you hurt somebody else, but it won't cover the other guy's obligation to pay you in the event he doesn't have enough coverage. And that's why I suggest that you look at the umbrella policy, but also look at increasing your coverage levels on your liability coverage, because in Virginia and in most other states that will automatically increase the coverage you have for the uninsured driver or the underinsured driver. And a number of ways that can be done, but the easiest and simplest one right out of the box is to ask your insurance agent if you can convert your existing split limit policy, your $100,000, $300,000 policy, to a single limit policy, which means that that company can pay you in the event an uninsured driver or an underinsured driver hits you, the difference between the full face value of your policy and whatever that individual had. So to use my prior example, if the individual that hits you has $25,000 worth of coverage and you now have a $300,000 single limit policy, your company will backstop you for another $275,000 for your accident-related injuries and damages. And that's a far cry better than only having $100,000, or worse yet, only having a minimum policy and having to live with a $25,000 settlement on a case that's worth substantially more than that. I know you've heard probably more than you want to today about insurance and all kinds of terms and one thing and another that are involved in the processing, unfortunately, of someone's claim who's already been injured, and it's difficult enough with non-legal matters getting through an injury, but the world of personal injury law has become fairly complicated. And one last subject that I think you need to be aware of when you're looking to buy insurance coverage in an adequate amount, and that is that whether it be ERISA, which is a federal law called the Employees Retirement Income Security Act that was passed in the 70s, or whether it's the Federal Employees Health Benefit Act, Workers' Comp, Medicare, Medicaid, there are a number of different sources of liens against your proceeds or a right of reimbursement. It's legal mumbo jumbo, but the net effect of it all is you may well have to pay some of what you get from the guy that hurt you back to your health insurance carrier who paid your medical bills. And if that's the case, your bottom line, what you take away for you and your family for your injuries, is going to be substantially reduced. And for that reason, you want to be aware of what your circumstances are so that when you buy insurance, you know that your family and you are going to be adequately covered in the event that you have the unfortunate circumstance of being in a serious accident.